Live here on Spectrum News 1. The time right now is 12:01. Breaking news today. State authorities decided to remove all children from a wilderness therapy camp in the western part of our state. Yeah, and for the folks here, they say they are very optimistic. I just got finished speaking with Don Davis's mother about 10 minutes ago, and she tells me she feels very hopeful that he is going to win for re-election. You can take a look at this crowd. Don Davis is expected to make an appearance very soon, but you can see that a lot of people are here. They're very hopeful that Don Davis is going to bring home the win. Right now, I am on Tiffany Boulevard here in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, and I want to show you some of the damage. That building right there was a very popular Chinese restaurant. The owner, too emotional to talk on camera, but she says that she has owned this building since 1995. She tells me that they were inside when that storm came through. And then if you can see behind that building, that is a very popular car shop that was in the area. I am told from a friend who knows the owner of this shop that folks were also working, and some of them had to be sent to the hospital when that tornado came through. Family members say Jariah Reed was walking out of this discount store while talking to the suspect on her cell phone. They say when she got to her car, that's when the suspect, who's also one of the children's father, started firing shots. Family members are just devastated even 17 years later. This happened on Bayleaf Road here in Raleigh. That tree that you see right there, that is the tree that he hit, and his family has a message to anyone who gets behind the wheel on New Year's Eve. New this morning, for the first time, we are seeing all angles of what happened November 13th when police arrested a couple accused of smoking marijuana at a Charlotte bus stop. Very little information is being given at this time, but we have been following the tweets on their website, and just take a look. This is one of the tweets from the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, and it says numerous law enforcement officers were struck by gunfire in an active situation. Welcome back to Spectrum News 1 and happy Sunday to you. This is such a beautiful day, great day to get outside. The meteorologist is always our best friend with temperatures like this. We just got finished listening live to an update from Buncombe County officials about the path to recovery after Helene. As of this morning, we have learned more than 11,000 people are still without power. People across the country, including right here in North Carolina, are remembering the life of a woman killed by law enforcement in Illinois. People attended rallies and vigils nationwide, including in Charlotte, demanding justice for Sonia Massey. I spoke with Pastor Bill Atkins, a prominent pastor in Memphis, Tennessee. He says he's been in touch with the district attorney's office, and he says the question that is still not getting answered is why did officers stop Tyree Nichols? Laverne Lucier places flowers every other week at the memorial site where her son was gunned down 1 month after his 18th birthday in his Durham neighborhood.
All of a sudden, my daughter called me and she was like, "Mom, I hear gunshots and they sound close." And I always told her, if you hear anything in the neighborhood, just call 911. And then she called me back and she was telling me that it was Sincere.
August 10th marks 3 years since Lucier received that phone call about her son, Sincere Burrell, a 2020 graduate of Bull City Youth Build in Durham. His murder that shook up the community still hasn't been solved. What do you want the world to know about your son?
Sincere, he was a beautiful person. He was sweet, respectful.
Gun violence is taking the lives of a startling number of children and teenagers across North Carolina and nationwide. Firearms are the leading cause of death among children and teens in our state.
Let's be sensible, because you'll feel different once this knocks on your front door and you've lost a child.
We spoke with Lucier the same day family and friends attended the funeral of Chloe Fennell, a 5-year-old who lost her life to gun violence this month.
But for every mom that has lost their baby, you know, that's your baby.
Experts blame the crime trend on the pandemic and the number of countless guns left in unlocked vehicles.
Just keep them in a safe place, because so many guns that are being used have been stolen.
According to NorthCarolinaSafe.org, in 2020, 211 firearms were stolen from vehicles in Raleigh. In Durham, 62% of the 185 gun thefts from cars in 2022 stem from unlocked vehicles.
It's always painful to come out here because I feel like he shouldn't be here.
Every time Lucier visits her son's cemetery about 5 minutes down the road from his memorial, it's a reminder of why she keeps advocating for an end to gun violence that's taking the lives of countless children.
You're going to always be a reminder in my walk of life, and I'll continue to do things in your honor till the day I leave this world.
What a powerful way to keep the message out about her son. A 2021 behavioral risk factor surveillance system survey revealed more than half of the firearms stored loaded at homes in North Carolina were unlocked. On August 10th, the mother you just heard from is hosting a back-to-school giveaway drive in her son's memory. It's at 6 p.m. at Duke Park in Durham.
We could hear them say that this person is dead. And unfortunately, it's one of those things where you are praying that they're talking about somebody else.
You can still hear the pain in Eugene Watt's voice as he shared his story from his California home. He says his family isn't a step closer to getting any justice. It's been 3 years since your brother's loss. 3 years later, what do you want the world to know about your brother?
Oh, that he's missed, that he's loved, that he always will be. I want other people to be safe. I don't want any other family to go through this tragedy, go through this heartache. Don't drink and drive. There's no reason for it.
This is video from that tragic accident in August of 2021 that left cars flipped over. Investigators say Eugene's brother Daniel was riding in the back seat of a Lyft on the freeway when a drunk driver hit him. The impact so severe, Daniel was thrown out of the car. Police say he was not wearing a seatbelt. According to court documents, the driver of the other car, Gregory Coley, was traveling 143 miles an hour. He had a blood alcohol level nearly twice the legal limit.
He should be held accountable for what he did and the decisions that he made, and we've yet to receive that.
The accident happened on Highway 147 North, which is now Interstate 885 North in Durham, not far from this Ellis Road exit. Family members say although nothing can bring Daniel back, they just want justice and transparency from the district attorney's office.
I wish their communication was better. I wish that we weren't being treated as the criminals here. We didn't do anything wrong. We just want justice for my brother.
Court records show the case was continued nearly 20 times over the past 3 years. We reached out to the district attorney's office to ask why. They declined our request for an interview, but did answer some of our questions over email. They say they met with the family twice to discuss the case and a plea agreement. They also said it's not uncommon for homicide cases to take several years to resolve. Homicides are very serious matters that involve extensive evidence and frequently motions and evaluations as well. In addition, in this case, our resident Superior Court judge who is going to hear the matter had been on rotation out of the county for some time. What does it mean to be on rotation out of the county?
The Superior Court judges in the state of North Carolina have what they call rotations. So every county has a senior resident Superior Court judge who has to be in their home county for at least 6 months out of the year. Those judges rotate throughout the state from county to county.
Bradley Anderton is a major injury litigation attorney and former assistant district attorney. He served the DA's office in the southeastern part of North Carolina.
This is a document that judges read at the end of a case.
Anderton says there's enough evidence in this case that warrants the suspect going to trial for second-degree murder, something he says should have already happened.
Any case that involves somebody that's died typically is going to take a long time. Now, more than 3 years is, in my opinion, too long. I looked at all of the facts of the case, and I have to tell you that I think the Durham County District Attorney's Office is making a very big mistake in how they're proceeding on this case, because the individual in this case, if you're almost twice the legal limit and you're almost going twice, well, more than twice the state highway speed limit, you're acting with what in the legal field we call malice, which is acting with intentional and reckless disregard for human life.
What's your family saying about the length and the time frame of this?
3 years is a long time for this to be hanging over our heads. This is a chapter in our lives that we would like to close and move on to completely grieving and focusing on my brother and not this outstanding court case.
Thank you so much for joining us live here. The time right now is 8:01. We are tracking the latest developments today after Helene tore through North Carolina yesterday, particularly in the mountains where some places like Canton saw almost 11 inches of rain since Wednesday due to the storm. This is along Asheville Highway in Canton where you can see parts of the road washed out from the fast-moving water. Low-lying businesses near the Pigeon River also flooded out like it did 3 years ago when the tropical storm Fred rolled through the area. And this picture is from the I-40 overpass over Highway 74 east of Asheville. You can see the whole interchange was flooded all the way to the Blue Ridge Parkway Bridge in the distance. In Asheville, the French Broad River was a major driver of the flooding. The river level peaked yesterday around 5:30 at more than 23 feet. Just to break that down and put things into context for you, the threshold for major flood stage is 18 feet. The National Water Prediction Service is forecasting the river in Asheville to drop from that major flood stage this afternoon and will return to normal levels late Monday. And moving to the high country, this was along King Street in Boone yesterday. Our Weather on the One's team, they say more than 13.5 inches of rain fell in Boone since Wednesday. Just down the street, the homeowner says the flooding came in fast and hit hard.
And with the debris, the water just came over and it became a river in, I would say 15, 20 minutes.
Some powerful images, so scary. And as the water receded, the true devastation was seen. Many homeowners returned to their property only to find belongings all over the place and down trees. Many homeowners also tried to stick out the storm. They were quickly rescued by swift water rescue teams and taken to higher ground. One resident we spoke with and others in his home were rescued by the team after the water started to reach their elevated home.
We just made sure to grab everything and what was important.
And we are turning now across the state where this damage that you see behind me was caused by an EF3 tornado in Rocky Mount yesterday. That happened around 1:30 in the afternoon and it slammed into a shopping center, as you can see right here. And that is where we find Amy Elliott this morning. She is live. Amy, what are you seeing on the ground and what are folks telling you after the storm?
Well, Siobhan, good morning, community of Rocky Mount.
Yeah, Amy, from the looks of things, looks like that cleanup is going to take quite some time. Thank you so much for that, Amy. And there are two other confirmed tornadoes from Helene. They are both EF1 strength. One of those was in Bladen County and one in Sampson County. And a person in Charlotte is dead after a tree fell on their home on Brookway Drive. This is the scene from that morning in Northwest Charlotte. Another person has been taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries, and heavy rain is believed to be the reason for the death of a 4-year-old child in our state. Troopers say a driver crossed the center line, likely due to road conditions, and crashed with another car. The 4-year-old died. Both drivers, along with 3 other children, were hurt and taken to a hospital. Time right now is 8:08. We are going to have much more coverage of the storm's impacts in the next half hour on Spectrum News 1. Be sure to stay with us and we will be sure to keep you up to date with the latest developments on our Spectrum News app. You can also download it by finding it in your app store or scanning the QR code listed on your screen. Coming up next on Spectrum News 1, Kamala Harris heads to the border to address what some say is a weak policy point from her. We're going to break down what you need to know about the border security plan that she unveiled and what Donald Trump and his supporters had to say about it. And this is a live look at the Charlotte skyline from the CR Legal Team Sky Camera. Looks much better today. Helene has left behind quite an impact, but what does the remainder of the weekend look like? We're going to have that answer in your Weather on the One's forecast when we return on Spectrum News 1. Be sure to stay with us.